Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining Soul Spa University. We're here to actually cover a very serious topic today that Tommy brought up to me over a week ago. And when he first, hello, Tommy,
Hello.
when he first brought up the topic of somebody missing and how it's all over America, of course, I had to ask, is she white? Is she cute? And he said yes. And I said, is she young? Is she blonde? He said yes. And I was like, because as somebody who studied journalism, I know how this goes. And I immediately was like, what about the other people that aren't getting any coverage? However, he really wanted to cover this case. And over the week, I definitely started studying it, and it grabbed me as well, to the point where I actually felt really sad and thought it was too sad to cover, because my heart really goes out for her and family. And my heart goes out to the other, apparently 700 people that are missing that aren't getting coverage. And we were supposed to do some podcasts today. And I thought, actually, as hard and sad as this is, it would actually be a disrespect to her and the other 700 families for us to not cover it. So I do have a rundown of the situation. Me and Tommy are here to figure this out. And this is really a dedication to Gabby Petito, her family, and everyone else's people that are missing. So it's going to be a little bit of a different flavor today for Soul Spa University. We're delving a little deep, and I just don't like to, ignore things that are really important in the world sometimes. So, all right. So Tommy, yes. I have extensive research. I have the whole timeline right here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So here's what I know. There's different sources say different things, but overall, I'm getting that Gabby Petito and her boyfriend left for vacation on July 2nd in a van. Everyone's dream. Damn, it's hard not to joke when we're on our podcast, but yeah, no, this is not for that purpose. So back to this, everyone's dream is to really, this was my dream at that age, just go and travel the country in a car. In fact, I think I was really going to do that. And, this could have happened to any of us. In fact, a lot of people went and did that, especially since COVID started. And why shouldn't they? But this is a really, really interesting point out of a story of, it's hard enough on couples as is, being stuck together in a situation. Many vacations will end couples. And that's why when COVID hit and everybody was stuck in quarantine together, I remember I knew a therapist that said, oh, birth rates are going to go up. And I thought divorce rates are going to go up. And in fact, both went up. So that in itself, in your own house or in a luxurious vacation stuck with somebody, is a lot of pressure on a relationship, let alone in a van, right? So these people leave July 2nd. And I have a whole timeline. Around August 12th is when that police call happened that everybody saw the body cam of. So for those of you that don't know, a police call was made. Reportedly, he was, some say she was hitting him, and a lot of people say he was hitting her. There's body cam footage of her visibly distressed. And he's calm, cool, and collected, and sort of, it almost looked like in cahoots with the cops, but basically was leveraging with the cops to say, she gets like this, and I just know that to stay away. And they understood. And, they made it seem like it was her mental, it's her like mental issue that she's working with, or an emotional distress, mental health type of situation for her. So should I go on to the next thing, or do you want to answer this?
Yeah, so they were like, she's like, both of them actually, they were like 20, really young 20s, right? 22, 21, something like that.
They're 22, but go ahead.
Yeah, and like, you're right, like, vacations do mess, and their van is not even a real. It could be basically a hatchback. It wasn't that big at all. Like for vans wise, this thing was tiny, and they were going from Florida to California and stopping off at every like national park and everything on the way.
So they actually left New York on July 2nd. And
Yes,
they
but they
were,
live in Florida.
Hmm?
They were driving out of Florida, I believe. That's what I was told.
no, they weren't.
Oh, okay, all right.
No. So, so anyway, yeah, no, there's a whole map of their timeline that I studied today.
Oh, okay.
So then on 8/25, text with her and her mom. Her family believes she was in Teton. Oh, you threw me off. So the next step after the police call. So basically the police call resulted in him getting put in a hotel overnight. He said he didn't have any money and the police set him up in a hotel room. And she was left with her van and her keys. I guess she goes to pick him up the next day because they then continue on their trip. Okay. Now that was August 12th. The next thing we know, August 24th is when she FaceTimed with her mom. And that is the last they really know of her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they received texts from her too, but they were.
Oh, I'm definitely getting it.
Okay.
Yeah, the FaceTime with her mom was telling her mom they're leaving Utah and heading to Teton in Wyoming, Teton Park. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. So yeah, that's the last they really know of her. Because on 8/25, the next day, they were texts with her and her mom. The family believes she was in Teton. At 8/27, more texts with her and her mom. Her family still believes she's in Teton on 8/27. Now, there's also news that on 8/27, she's telling her friend she's heading to Yellowstone. And there's also news. I'm just going in chronological order for everybody because this is so confusing. So I literally took all the layers and layered it in chronological order for everybody. So basically on 8/27, it's also reported that that's when her phone stopped working. Okay. So this is interesting. And trust me, at the end of this lineup, we all have questions. Okay. I have a bunch. Okay. So then on 8/29, okay, Brian gets picked up by this Miranda Baker TikTok person who's with her boyfriend. And apparently Brian was hitchhiking after a hike near like Snake Lake or something like that. And basically, like he offered them $200 to drive him 10 miles and they wouldn't take the money. And they were heading to like Jackson, right? And like let me see something. He got really upset because they like, I think they were really going to Jackson Hole and he wanted to go to Jackson. Now here's where I have the most questions. You know, I've been studying maps of everything this whole time. I want to know where he got picked up in relation. I want to know where that is in relation to where the van is. You know what I mean? And I want to know where this place is he was trying to go, this direction, wherever this Jackson is. Obviously, he was very upset about Jackson Hole, and that's why he got out of the vehicle he just was really nervous. He didn't want to be in it anymore when they were going to Jackson Hole. And he told them that he's been hiking for days and that his fiance is in a van, like basically doing the social media. That's where she's at and that's what she wants to do. And he's been hiking for days. Miranda Baker, who's posted all of this on her TikTok, basically said that he didn't seem like he's been hiking. He seemed very clean, and that there was nothing in his backpack. Now, you would think there's nothing in his backpack because he ate it all and stuff, because he's been hiking for 3 days by himself. But basically on 8:30, that is the last recorded text from her phone, the van girl, Gabby Petito. Okay. Recorded text that said like no service in Yosemite or something, where apparently it wasn't sent in Yosemite. And they don't think it was from her. And there was also previous texts sent, and I want to know when exactly they were sent. It was anytime before 8:30, where she referred to her grandfather as his name, which is Stan, and basically says, tell Stan, can you take care of Stan? He keeps I keep getting his missed calls and texts. And she would just never refer to her grandfather as Stan.
Yeah.
So I'm confused because there's a report that her phone stopped working on 8/27, like August 27th. And yet how could it stop working when there's a text being sent at August 30th? I'm not saying it's sent by her, but how did the phone just stop working? Like, what are they talking about? Obviously it was working enough to send a text at August 30th.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah. I don't know what you heard about because this was your idea. I have the whole story. Anyway, so there's so much more to this, but if you want to interject anything so far.
Well, yeah, first he was not hiking, he was camping, and there was no camping gear. There was no sleeping bag, there was no tent, nothing.
They literally
Yeah.
said he was hiking for 3 days.
I read camping. But 3 days it's basically the same thing. Yeah, he got really pissed. He wanted to go to Jackson, I think, was it Jackson, Wyoming that he wanted to go to? And the Jackson Hole is just a town. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Why, if he had no money for the whole hotel thing, it's like $200. It's a nice way. It's a nice way of saying, hey, here's $200. Keep your mouth shut. Like,
I don't know, but that's what everybody's speculating about. You had no money for this. That's why I read it in chronological order with everything I've seen so far, because I thought it was really interesting. He had no money for this hotel room, and yet he had $200. Well, more on that comes out. You ready, or you want more?
Yeah.
Okay. So those so basically he got picked up. He was hitchhiking by Miranda Baker. And she's explaining the timeline and everything. Well, when they weren't going to where he wanted, he got agitated, he got out of the car, they dropped him off. And it's I can't help but say it's kind of funny because she shows the text just to show the time of when she picked him up and he got dropped off. And her mom is like, what? Do you want to die? Okay. There's murderers out there. And she's like, I just don't understand why she was saying that, but I guess now I do. And then it just cuts away. Anyway, so within minutes he gets picked up by someone else. I've never met such a skilled hitchhiker in my life. Okay. Gets picked up by another woman. And this is like less publicized, I think, because Miranda Baker just put it all over social media, all these events. And this other woman may not have that ability or doesn't do such a thing. And I also think that's why the story is getting a lot of coverage as well, is because it's all over social media and the world feels a part of it because we're all sort of linked through social media. So August 29th, Norma Jean Jaluik picks him up from Jackson Hole and gave him a ride to Spread Creek the same day. And that's where her remains were found.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Then he left her with the van, basically went and just walked freaking like 15, 20 miles just so that he can have some kind of alibi or something.
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know. People think it's for an alibi. Others wonder, did he already do it? You know, like, that's why I want to know, like, where he got picked up in relation to where the van was. You know what I mean? And it's like, I want to know, was he trying to go back towards the van or away from the van? You know, maybe she was still alive then. Maybe they got in a huge fight and he needed some space so that he didn't lose his temper. And then I don't know. I had to see where everything is in relation to each other, because I don't know if then he ended up back around the van, and then that doesn't give him more space that he needed, and he needed to survive, so he went to the van and they got in even more of a fight, and that's when it happened. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a possibility. It could have been that he already did it. He was trying to get away from the van. It could, and then I don't know. Then he had second thought. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I mean, it would make sense then why he would try to give them $200 so that they would remember. Oh yeah, no, we picked them up somewhere. And then if the coroner is like, she died whatever amount of time ago, they're like, no, look, this is the alibi. I wasn't near her because they remember me. Because if you
yeah.
gave them, like $10
Well,
here or
also,
there.
they never took the money, and neither did the second lady. And the other interesting thing about the second lady is that she wanted to drive into the park that she was dropping him off at, and like take her closer to where he was trying to go, and he was very insistent on not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's a polite thing.
No.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I went into this story with an open mind. So I didn't go into this thinking one way or the other, but I can't help but after extensive research and when I'm talking after extensive research, me really thinking, okay, you know, like, because I didn't want to judge from the start. Honestly, I knew what everybody else knew. And I thought, well, there's still a chance that he didn't. There's still a chance he did it. There's still a chance, because I just think of everything. But after I don't know, there's just too many things connecting where, like, he got super agitated when he was going in the wrong direction, which okay, could happen. That could happen if you're running out of resources to survive and you're really just frustrated and trying to get to where you have to go. I could maybe understand that. I don't think it's anything personal against the people that were driving him. I think he just didn't want to waste any more time and energy if he's trying to survive on, like, or trying to get back. But then him driving that. Okay. So then September 1st, he arrives back at his Florida home where his parents also live, is how they word it. Okay. So it's not like this is his parents' house. I think he actually I think they happen to live with him. I'm not sure. But basically September 1st, he gets back there. And I think he's later seen that week taking a walk with them on the block. And then it wasn't until, and then of course, they, like you mentioned, they ignored the parents that were looking for her, who hadn't heard from her since technically the 30th, but looking back, they don't think that was her. They knew something was up. Yeah. And I think the Launderie family, who's Brian's family's last name, basically filed the missing persons report September 11th, 11 days after he was home. Or was it her family?
No, it's her family, not his. Yeah.
Okay. And then September 11th was last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. So then apparently the 14th, he went missing. And the family that's been refusing to talk to anybody finally caved into talking to, I think, the FBI Friday, right? And so the FBI came over, and all they really said, I mean, at least what was publicized, is that Brian's now missing. Sorry, I got
Um,
distracted with beep. I guess.
yeah, sorry, it's my coffee machine when it's trying to remind me there's coffee to be made. Um, yeah, no, it's not just that though. When they first did the missing persons report, uh, the police went to the house just to ask them questions, and they were immediately met with the family saying, you know, talk to our lawyer. This is
Yeah.
before everything else.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even get to talk to Brian. They were
Yeah.
just told, hey, listen, talk to our lawyer. It's like, I mean, if you're innocent, you don't immediately go home and get a lawyer.
No, people have been saying maybe you do. Maybe you do because you're a person of interest in the case because they automatically look at the spouse.
True, but there
Um,
was no proof at that point.
I know, but I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think honestly, I've been seeing loopholes this whole time until now there's just too many dots connecting with the timeline I put together of all the facts.
Yeah, true. What's that? And then there's all the little stories you hear like popping up afterwards, after the fact. Are you, yeah, do you have anything more past the missing thing or no?
Let me see. I mean, everybody must know at this point. I can't read my own writing. But you know, at 9:16, basically the Petito family literally put out a public statement, like begging the family, like, please, we just want to know where, we just, you know, like, please cooperate. And, you know, the police were begging them. And 9:17, after, you know, they were begged by the police and her family, you know, they did finally say, okay, but you have to come to our house. And basically just to reveal that they had not seen Brian since the 14th. So just so everybody recaps the timeline, you know, he got back September 1st, and they filed a missing persons report on the 11th. I think his family did. I think
No, it was hers. It was hers. Because they didn't hear from her and all that stuff. It was hers.
I don't know. I gotta check that. And basically, uh, he just jumped ship. He just left. Um, 14th. I mean, they are looking for him now because they actually have an actual clause, which is that he started using unauthorized devices, which basically means other people's debit cards, and they are not revealing if it's her debit cards or not. At any time between August 30th and September 1st, and that's when he got home. You know, so he probably used the money to get home. It's like, but whose cards is he using?
Yeah.
And then it got even crazier. It's like he took a car to go hiking on Tuesday the 14th, and then he was just never seen. But the family just went and picked up the car and brought it back, and then didn't report him missing until Friday.
Oh yeah, because they're giving him a head start. Uh, Apparently, someone that fit his description almost like to the T was caught on a hunting camera 500 miles away. So
500 miles away from where?
from Florida. They didn't specify which direction or whatever. It was just on the article, 500 miles from Florida, that he was caught on in the woods. He was caught on camera. What looked like him. I mean,
Okay, that's been debunked since.
no, the actual picture does look like dead on like him, but since they haven't caught him yet, they don't really know.
Okay, because I heard that's not the case. When did you hear that?
3 days ago.
Yeah, because if that was a thing, that would so be around everywhere, you know? Like, I mean, maybe. It's just,
Well, yeah,
this is crazy. This is just,
yeah. I mean, I don't want to like jump, but this guy is obviously guilty. It's like, who runs? Who runs? If you're not guilty, who gets a lawyer before anything is brought up? Like, this guy is straight up, yeah, if they don't arrest him like right out, or he doesn't surrender, he's probably just gonna end his life or something crazy like that, because he's done. And especially now that this is so big on social media, you're gonna have all these hounds looking with their cameras up everywhere, everywhere. And it doesn't even have to be like anybody that looks anything like him will be on people's cameras.
Oh my God. This is so sad. Once it was verified it was her and she's dead, I just felt it so hard in myself. Like, I was like, I don't want to cover this. It's just too sad. And then, like I said, we're only doing it out of respect for her and the other 700 people out there that are missing. Because, it just goes to show like how quickly things can happen in life that are just pivotal in someone's life. And like, sometimes we don't realize as we're going through our everyday lives, like how quickly your life could just change like that. And it's
Yeah,
like
it's
it
crazy.
goes under the radar, you know? Like
Mhm.
before her, a lot went under the radar. And that's why we should, you know, maybe part of her life mission, you know, of being here was so that people it does point to the other people that are missing. It does point to future people, that, and it's just once I heard she died, I was like, oh God, cover this. But yeah, I think everyone has a life mission, and I think that was part of hers, and it's to help, and that's how it's going to help the world. um it's Everyone check on your van friends. Everyone check on your you know
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's sad. This is a really sad story because she was so young, and like, this didn't have to happen. But the guy was apparently, yeah, more than a couple of issues. Like, there was one story of how he flipped out in a diner with her, and the waitress said that he like looked like he was like squeezing her wrist when he came over, and he started yelling at the waitress that they're not ready to order and all this other stuff. And she had to calm him down. She's like, I'm sorry. She was apologizing to the staff for him.
oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of little things here and there. And the story of him hitting her, the one I heard was that the people that called the actual like 911 call was them watching him go walk her down up and down the street. She kept trying to walk away from him and just smacking the hell out of her over and over again.
Hmm.
And that's the one that those are the people that called the actual police. Um, so this guy was a real scumbag. He's still, I mean, if he doesn't kill himself, that's it. He's done. He's going to jail forever.
Oh my
So
God. Well,
it's sad. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like, and I think they were engaged too. Or she kept telling the police that they were engaged.
hmm. Yeah, the
Yeah.
initial story is that they were, and they called it off, um, which everyone thought was a red flag, because it's like you can postpone an engagement, but calling it off completely, you know. And
Yeah.
but I guess they must have gotten re-engaged over the emotional hills of this road trip, you know.
Yeah. I mean, kids, they're freaking, they're up and down with their like stuff. So I just don't, I don't. This poor girl. I mean, if she just let it lie when they called her off the first time and just walked away from him, she could still be here today. And it's sad. They
Yeah,
also showed.
what,
Sorry.
like it's like, and like my friend like brought up today, like, they always pin it on the girl, like, oh, like we shouldn't get in these toxic relationships, and oh, blah blah blah. And it's like, what if, like, and she said a good point, like, what if like men just get raised not to be so toxic? Maybe, like, does it always have to be the girl, like, you know.
True, but I mean that's what society's becoming anyway.
because people try to leave, and that's what people don't understand. Like, I totally felt for her when there were cops there. I saw the body cam footage, and in that situation, I could feel like if he was abusive, you think she feels safe saying it right then and there? Like, at that point, that man is all she has. You know how many people I know try to leave? I mean, I don't want to bring this up right now, but I've been in that situation and you are terrified for your life. That person knows where you live. Okay. A piece of paper saying a restraining order isn't doing anything. If anything, this should possibly look further into these situations and like fix the system a little better. Um, I don't know in what way, I'm not saying to like, do it in a way that inconveniences people more, but in a way that actually does convenience people more. Like maybe, like, how they have early intervention for things, maybe early intervention in couples, something. I don't know yet, but
Yeah. Well, some people just can't get changed, and it's not like I agree. The restraining order thing is just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But
well,
there's
that's all
really
they can do right now. But I feel like they should all start brainstorming other options.
I mean, what can there be? They can't. It's not like they can babysit the couple the whole entire time. You can't force them to like wear like devices that will tell them that they're getting close to each other. It's like it's insane, but like the restraining order is literally the best they can do at the moment until like some future thing that gets put into our watches that show us like where our GPS is at all time or something like that. Or actually, no, maybe they could GPS people's phones, but that's that.
I don't think you have to go there. I don't think you have to go to ridiculous things. I think like you can just start brainstorming and come up with all sorts of things that'll lead you to other solutions one day. That's all. Anyway, so do you have anything more to say on this?
I mean, like I said, this guy. I don't want to like jump to, but he's guilty. He did it. Like there was one thing that showed that her slipper was found just alone, like on like hard jagged rocks, which means that she was she's nobody's gonna lose one slipper and walk on freaking hot rocks or not sharp rocks.
Oof.
Like this just girl was obviously dragged.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so and I mean the coroner did the autopsy already, but they're just saying that it was a homicide. They're not going into how she passed just yet. But it's it's a sad story. I feel really bad for the family, but this Brian guy deserves to get the worst punishment for this.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know if I had to pause because the outside noise. Um, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just the point is that she's gone, and that's so sad. And there needs to be good birthed from this, in any way, shape, or form that can be, you know. And I just also just feel horrible for the family because I know how that feels to have your entire life changed every day for the rest of your life now. I mean, the fact that they could even post on social media 2 hours after finding out, maybe they found out prior more. I mean, no, I mean, it's devastating. It's the most devastating thing that could ever happen. And, it's like, oof, my God. So
Yeah,
on that note, you're good?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so on that note, guys, thanks for being with us here today. We'll be following the story and may Gabby rest in peace, and my heart goes to her family as well as the other 700 people that are missing.